My initial impressions were I thought it was a great concept, first of all. Is it an interesting story, right? That's just sort of the baseline of anything that interests me. Is the story good? So I love sci-fi and don't get a chance to do it a lot, so that was a big bonus for me. I had such a great time working with Roland on Midway that it was an easy yes to say yes. Also, I felt like this role was different for me in roles that I've done lately. But my first impressions of the script were that I love that it took this huge. I love that it took this huge disaster film idea, but really base it around one of the most interesting and controversial questions of evolution versus creation. And so for me, that was really fascinating to me. I like when you can use a movie, even a big splashy popcorn movie, to at least just drop something into the conversation. I think that's really fascinating. It's hard to sort of fit this into the Roland canon, other than yes, it's this big epic movie that he knows this space. He's not afraid of the scope of a movie. No set or piece is too big. Like he rolls with it. That's actually when he gets really into it, because he's got such a vision in his head that we're all trying to just hold on and figure out where he's going with it. But I think above all, the one thing that, if I can relate this to the other Roland movies that speak to me, are yes, you can have this big spectacle, but you really have the human emotion that drives the story, because you have to have people that you care about. And that is something that you see a through line with his movies, especially the ones that become these big successful films, that because they can cross over just from being a big popcorn movie to going, I really loved that performance, I loved that character, I felt so much for that character. So he really likes to bring out that emotion. So from that perspective, you really do see these different storylines that each have such a tremendous amount of heart. If anything, I came in with too much knowledge of what it's like to act like you're floating, because I did that for an entire movie, which helped, I will say. But yeah, it's always it's always tough. It's always tough to pull that off, because you're concerned. It's not even the movement of getting through something. It's when you're talking and doing a scene, and where you're, any astronaut will tell you your hands naturally fly here. Of course, if I did this in our scene right now, we would feel sort of odd. So you're trying to find that balance between what looks right and what's realistic, and we're not making a documentary and all of that kind of stuff. But it for sure is a much different feel. All these apparatus, the apparati, all these things that we use to try to pull this off, it can be pretty difficult. I didn't do too much training in that, although the spacesuit we did about an afternoon in trying to get used to, because they are incredibly cumbersome and heavy. And my apologies to the people who make them, but they are not great to wear.